I am back with another listening challenge. You're going to listen to 3 dialogues. The first one is easy, the second one is medium, and the last one is difficult. By the end of this challenge, you will know whether your English listening skill is beginner, intermediate, or advanced. Ready, set, let's go for dialogue 1, which is the easy dialogue. We're going to listen to Sarah, who's a student and who wants to join a photography club. And the club leader is Mr. Jones. Now, here is the question you're going to answer. The question is, which 2 things must students have to join the club? How many correct answers does this question have? 2. How many boxes do you need to check? 2. So you should listen for 2 answers. Now, let's have a look at the options. Their own professional camera, a completed application form, previous experience taking photos, a small membership fee, and interest in nature photography. Let's listen to the dialogue and choose 2 correct options.
Hi, I'm looking for the photography club. Is this the right place?
It is. I'm Mr. Jones. Are you thinking of joining us this term?
I'd love to, but I'm a bit worried because I don't have a professional camera. My brother said I'd need one to be in the club.
Well, your brother was right, in the past. We used to require every student to bring their own expensive gear because the school didn't have any. But we just bought 10 new cameras for the club, so having your own is no longer a requirement. We'll lend you one for the year.
Oh, that's lucky. And do I need to show you some of my work? I don't have much experience.
Don't worry about that. Some people think you need to be an expert already, but we're happy to take complete beginners. There are really only 2 musts for new members. First, you have to fill in an application form. You can find it on our website, or I can give you a paper copy now.
I'll do the online version tonight. Does it cost anything to join?
There is a small membership fee of £5. We used to offer the club for free, but we need the money for printing and paper now. It's still a bargain though.
Definitely. I'm mainly interested in nature photography. Birds and trees mostly. Is that okay?
That's fine. We do several nature walks, but you don't actually need a specific interest in that to join. You can take photos of people, sports, or buildings if you prefer. We want everyone to feel welcome.
How was it? This was the easy dialogue. Look at this part in the script. Mr. Jones said there are only 2 musts. The first one is you have to fill in an application form, and the second one is a small membership fee. So the 2 correct options are a completed application form and a small membership fee. How did you do? Did you answer the question correctly? Was it challenging to understand what the speaker was saying? Let me know in the comments. We're going to question 2, which is medium. We're going to hear a dialogue between a student called James and a project coordinator called Ms. Sterling about an environmental research project. Here's the question. Have a look. Which 2 things must students have to participate in the environmental research project? Again, how many correct answers? 2. You need to check 2 boxes. Look at the options. Specialist hiking boots, a private medical report, their own portable computer, advanced science grades, or valid personal insurance. Are you ready? Listen carefully and choose 2 options.
Hi, Ms. Sterling. I'm here to ask about the environmental research project in the Highlands. It sounds like a great opportunity, but I want to make sure I'm eligible. Do I need a top GPA in my science modules?
Well, James, for the Senior Honors Program, that would be a prerequisite. But for this specific summer field project, we've actually waived that requirement to encourage more volunteers. So your current grades are fine.
That's a relief. Now, about the gear. The list mentions specialist hiking boots for the rough terrain. Are those expensive?
They can be, and in previous years, students had to buy their own. However, the department received a grant recently, so we now provide all the necessary outdoor footwear for everyone. What you absolutely cannot do without, though, is a portable computer. You'll be responsible for logging your own data in the field every evening.
I've got a sturdy laptop, so that's no problem. What about health and safety? Do I need to go to my doctor for a full medical report?
We highly recommend a recent checkup, and it's useful if you bring a note from your doctor, but we don't list it as a mandatory document. However, there is no flexibility regarding personal insurance. For legal reasons, the university requires every participant to have a valid policy that covers field-based accidents. You'll need to show us the documents before we leave.
Right, I'll get that sorted out this week then. Thanks for the help.
How was it? More challenging, right? It was supposed to be more challenging. But let me give you the correct answers. Look at this part of the script, in which Ms. Sterling said, what you absolutely cannot do without, though, is a portable computer. So you cannot do without it. It means you must have it. So one correct answer is a personal computer. You need to have your own personal computer. In the second part, Mrs. Sterling mentioned something mandatory. Mandatory means you must have it. But what was mandatory? A mandatory piece of document? Personal insurance. That was the second option. This was more challenging, right? Do you want to have the script of this lesson, of what the speaker said, with the explanation of the keywords in one PDF file for free? You can simply click on the link above this video and download it. So how was it? How did you do with the medium dialogue? Let me know in the comments. And now we're going to go for the hard, difficult dialogue. In this dialogue, two students are going to speak to each other, Alex and Chloe. They are discussing their final submission at university for an urban design project called Smart Cities. Listen carefully and answer this question. Which two things must be submitted for the Sustainable Cities project? How many correct answers? 2. A physical 3D model, formal ethics approval, transcripts of all interviews, a signed risk assessment, or a printed project budget. Ready, set, go.
Chloe, I've been reviewing the submission criteria for the Sustainable Cities module. The handbook stipulates a 3D physical representation of the site, but with the workshop closed for repairs, I'm worried we'll lose marks.
I actually checked that with the module coordinator this morning. Since the university facilities are unavailable, that requirement has been waived for this semester. We're moving to a strictly digital submission. However, don't forget that the formal ethics approval is a mandatory prerequisite. Without that documentation attached to the final report, the entire submission is considered void.
Good catch. I'll make sure that's in the folder. And what about the interviews we conducted with the local residents? I've only managed to transcribe about half of them so far.
Those are actually optional extras. The professor mentioned they are highly recommended if we're aiming for a first-class mark, but they aren't technically required to pass the project. What is absolutely essential, though, is the signed risk assessment. The university is being incredibly strict about on-site safety this term, so that form is non-negotiable.
Right, I've got everyone's signature on that already. Is there anything else? I noticed a section for a project budget in the template.
That's only for the second phase of the project next term. For now, we can leave that blank.
Whoa, that was challenging, right? The thing is, I tried to design the audio files so that there are some traps for you. But let's see if you answered correctly. Chloe said something, that it's going to be a digital submission, but there is something as a mandatory prerequisite. What was it? The formal ethics approval. Look at this part of the script. In another part of the script, here's a trap. Chloe said that there are some optional things. They are not mandatory. The question said, which two things must students have? So if they're optional, that's not important. But also, Chloe said, what is absolutely essential, though, is the risk assessment. So you need to have the signed risk assessment as a must. How was it? Did you get the correct answers? Let me know in the comments whether or not you managed to answer all 3 questions correctly. I hope you've enjoyed this challenge. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel, click subscribe. See you.